Okay, you know that feeling? The day just doesn't start until you've had that first glorious cup of coffee. But for so many of us, that amazing morning ritual comes with a really unpleasant side effect: heartburn. So today, let's get to the bottom of this conflict between our favorite drink and our poor esophagus.
I mean, it's the classic trade-off, right? You want that smell, you want that energy, but you're also dreading that burning feeling creeping up your chest later. So the million-dollar question is, can you actually have your coffee and enjoy it without all the acid reflux drama? Well, what if I told you that there's an entire type of coffee out there that claims it has this whole thing figured out? It's called low-acid coffee, and honestly, the marketing for it sounds pretty incredible. I mean, just look at this claim from a company called Puroast. They say over 90% of their customers reported symptom relief. 90%! That sounds like a miracle, right? A total game changer for anyone who's had to give up their morning brew. But you know what they say: if it sounds too good to be true.
So, to figure out what's really going on, we have to understand what low-acid coffee even is. And this is where it gets really interesting, because I promise you, it's not what you think.
So here's the big secret. Low acid has nothing to do with your stomach acid. It actually refers to an acid that's inside the coffee bean itself. It's called chlorogenic acid. And to make this low-acid coffee, they just roast the beans for a longer time, which, well, it destroys that compound. And here is the major catch. This stuff they're destroying, chlorogenic acid, it's actually one of the best parts of coffee. It's a powerhouse antioxidant. It has anti-inflammatory properties, anti-obesity properties. It's literally one of the main reasons coffee is considered healthy in the first place. Think about it this way. It's like an orange juice company bragging that they've made their juice low acid by destroying all the vitamin C. It sounds completely ridiculous, right? They'd be bragging about taking out the good stuff. But hey, you might be thinking, if it stops my heartburn, who cares? Maybe it's worth it. That's a fair question, and luckily, we don't have to guess. That huge 90% relief claim was actually put to a head-to-head scientific test, a proper, randomized, double-blind clinical trial. And get this, the study was funded by the low-acid coffee company itself. You gotta love that. So they set up the ultimate coffee showdown. In one corner, you've got Puroast's special low-acid coffee, and in the other corner, a regular, everyday roast from Starbucks. They gave these to people who get heartburn from coffee, and nobody, not the participants, not the researchers, knew who was drinking which. A totally fair fight. So, what happened? The results were stunning, but not in the way the company hoped. The study found absolutely no benefit. None. Zero. Zilch. The low-acid coffee did nothing to help. And it wasn't even close. They looked at everything. Was heartburn less frequent? Nope. Was it less severe? Nope. Did it help with other symptoms like indigestion? Not at all. The really tough pill to swallow? Both the regular coffee and the special low-acid coffee caused symptoms in most of the people. The fancy roasting process made no difference whatsoever. Okay, so if this special, nutritionally nerfed coffee is basically a bust, what are we supposed to do? What actually works for acid reflux? Well, for that, we have to stop looking at marketing and start looking at what the actual clinical guidelines say.
This right here is what doctors use. It's a clinical pathway from Alberta Health Services in Canada that shows the evidence-based steps for managing GERD. This is where we find the real answers. So let's break it down.
First off, let's just be clear about what we're dealing with. GERD isn't just a little heartburn now and then. The official definition is when that reflux of stomach acid happens so often that it's causing actual injury, or, as they put it, troublesome symptoms. I think we can all agree heartburn is pretty troublesome. So, what's the actual game plan for fighting back against these troublesome symptoms? The guidelines are really clear. You start with lifestyle changes that have been proven with actual evidence to make a difference.
And these are the big ones, the heavy hitters. Number 1, if you're carrying extra weight, weight loss is huge. Number 2, quitting smoking. Number 3 is to stop eating huge meals. Smaller, more frequent ones are way better. And number 4, this is a biggie for nighttime symptoms, don't lie down for at least 3 hours after you eat.
Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, what about all the foods I'm supposed to avoid? You've seen this list, right? Alcohol, caffeine, chocolate, spicy food, mint, the usual suspects. But the science here is actually a little surprising.
And this is a direct quote from those clinical guidelines.
It says that completely eliminating all those food and drink triggers is not supported by clear evidence. Now, that doesn't mean they don't affect you. If spicy food gives you heartburn, by all means avoid it. But it means that for the general population, the evidence for cutting out everything on that list just isn't as strong as it is for things like weight loss and mealtime.
Which brings us right back to the beginning. It seems like low-acid coffee is a fancy solution to a problem that might not even be the main issue. The real hard evidence tells us that if we want to manage GERD, our time and energy are much better spent on those proven lifestyle strategies, not on chasing a special product. So the final question really isn't about the coffee. It's about figuring out what your real triggers are and focusing on the things that actually work.